Okay, we are live. Let me hit the record before I forget.
There you
Excellent.
go.
All right, we are
Here we
showing
are.
live. Folks, sorry about the delay there. Zoom, Meta, Stream Key, Stream URLs, all the good stuff that comes with tech. We promise to be technology advanced, but we can't promise technology is always going to work in favor of us. But whether you're watching us live, thank you for joining us. Whether you're watching the replay, we hope you've had a successful start to your week. Welcome to what we call the eXp Realty Australia Discovery Session, a session where we come together to tell and share the incredible stories of our business partners, our fellow collaborators, and industry agents across the country, just to get a bit of a perspective of where they've come from, where they're at, and how they're doing business today. And by way of introduction, today's special guest, a local lad from South Australia, whom has only been in real estate a pretty short time, however, building some incredible success over that short period in the industry. Some 4 years, averaging 25 to 30 home sales a year consistently, which in today's climate, that's an exceptional performance, given that you've only been in the industry here, Tim, for 4 years now, but the interesting thing about you, mate, I'm going to let you tell a little bit more about your story, but you've come from a complete different industry outside of real estate, which sometimes means you come into the industry with no, I guess, poor behaviors or poor habits as such that can come from experience in an industry. Mate,
Yep.
you've come from the family farm in the Barossa Valley, breeding horses. You've even done some work in the wine industry, and you're here
Yep.
now in real estate. So welcome to today's eXp Realty Australia Discovery Session. Timmy Mann, thanks for joining us, buddy.
Thank you very much for having me, Chris, and hello to everybody.
So, mate, tell me, farm, wineries, real
Yep.
estate. How did that happen?
Well, so I used to live on the Gold Coast and I had a
Yep.
car detailing shop up there and decided to give that a miss. I really loved it, but it was just the hours and the just so much work. So my dad had our farm out in the Barossa Valley here in
Yep.
SA, and he needed some help. So after I'd sold the shop up on the Gold Coast, I came down to give him a bit of a hand. So I was here from 2017 till early 2020,
Okay.
where we then sold the farm. I loved the area so much that I wanted to live here. So I got some work out at Wolf Blass, out at the winery out there. Did a
Yep.
couple of vintages, and I really loved doing that, but I knew there was more out there. So one night I saw an advertisement for a real estate sales person, and I'd always thought of doing it. So I
hmm
rang up and had a crack, and 4 years later, here I am. So yeah,
Well, mate, you're still here because, as we know in our industry, attrition pretty high. A lot of people want to
yeah,
crack into the industry, as you said, but not many are here beyond sort of 12 or 18 months. So we're very grateful
it is
you are,
tough.
mate. And I've
Yeah,
collaborated with you on properties as well. I've seen how you operate. You've got 119 reviews on your REA profile, so that's a testament. 119 five-star reviews as
five
well, not
stars too.
4.5, not 4.9, but 5 stars. To get 119 of those, you must be doing something right. Um, Obviously come from a farming background, so you know what it takes to grit it out and pursue hard work, and you don't shy away from it.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So tell me, mate, like, so you applied for that job, you got into real estate. Like, what was day one for you? What you thought real estate was to how it's played out to be?
Yeah, definitely. So I suppose when you go into it, you don't really know what to expect. You sort of hear different things, and I suppose a lot of the guys out there that think that they go into it, that someone just sort of walks into the office one day and says, "Hey, here are the keys to my house. Can you sell it to me?" It doesn't happen
Yeah.
all that often. So my first week or whatever was just on the phones. Well, my first probably 6 or 9 months was just on
Yep.
phones.
Okay.
Um, Trying to get appraisals, build the database, assisting other agents with their sales as well. But yeah, it was just for me, sort of building the database from phones. So just basically on the phones from 8 till 5, 8 till 6 every day, basically.
Hard yakka.
Doing appraisals. Yeah. So that's what it was like. And like a lot of people try to get into it, I suppose, and they don't think that's what it's going to be. But you've got to find your clients, haven't you? So So for me, that was the way that I was doing it. Yeah.
So, mate, you and I have similar backgrounds in that we came from franchise ways. I'd been doing it that way for a bit longer than you, some 12 years, 13 years.
Yep.
You'd been doing it that way for some 3 years. Obviously, there's a lesson in learning right there in what you said that sometimes the only way to really crack it in this industry is the hard yakka foundations of doing the relentless work that most generally don't want to do, whether it
Don't
be
want to do.
cold
Yeah.
calling, mining data, sourcing opportunities, or pounding the pavement and door knocking.
Yep.
Now that you've come from, I guess, a franchise way and you now transition into eXp Realty as a new era cloud-based way to power your business, what are some of the key fundamentals that you learnt early on that you've now taken into your own business and you still apply to this day religiously?
So phone calls is a must. Absolutely. Every day making your calls.
So give me a
Um,
breakdown. Do you have a set time? Do you have a number of calls you're wanting to get through? Like, what are your non-negotiables on a daily basis?
Well, I suppose with eXp, it sort of changed for me. Whereas when I was at the franchise model, it was in the office at 8:45. Everyone was
Yep.
making their calls from 9 to 11 o'clock. Then you go about doing your appraisals or appointments or whatever it is. I suppose with eXp, because of the flexibility, and the thing that I sort of started to realize towards the end of my time at the franchise, you don't get a hold of everyone between 9 and 11 anyway. So you
Yeah.
can make as many calls as you can. But so I've sort of stretched my day out a little bit.
Okay.
I'll mix things up. So it's either my phone calls in the mornings, letterbox drops, follow up emails, open homes, and all that sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah.
Cool. So on an average day, Tim, because I know you're an old school dialer and caller like I am, mate. I think there's a lot of tech out there
Sure
these
am.
days, mate, that can alleviate contact and take it away from you, whether it's through automation, AI, or SMS automation, or email automation or whatever. But I still think there's a huge part at play here in successful agents that I see consistently is
Yeah.
that they're still picking up the phone and they're dialing people daily
Exactly right.
and they're creating
Yeah.
that connection. Um, so like on an average day for you, man, like how many calls would you still make to this day?
At least 50. At least
Yep.
50 to clients that I want to do the business with, past clients, um, buyers agents, people that have come through open homes, making phone calls around all the listings that I actually have as well. So it's at
Yep.
least 50.
Yep.
Some days it could be 70, 80, yeah, something like that as well. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Cool. So mate, like would you say that calling to this day is still the number one backbone prospecting parameter to your business is calls?
I think, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. And let's talk about like tech, like how are you applying tech to your business? Or because I know some people, mate, they embrace tech and they love it, and some people just go, I'm just sticking to what I know, my lane, and that is calling, that is letterbox dropping, pounding the pavement,
Yeah.
whatever it is. How are
Yeah.
you finding it complementing tech into your business with the old hard hustlers such as calling or door knocking or letterbox dropping? How are you embracing
Yeah.
that?
Oh, I'm not really good at it.
Yeah,
I try to watch some of the boys on the Alpha there and
yeah,
try to get some of the tips. I mean, I might do a couple of Facebook posts or something like that, but for me, it's not where I've generated any of my listings, to be perfectly
yeah,
honest, that I know of anyway. But potentially someone's probably seen me there or whatever. But no, with the tech side of things, no, I'm not very good at it, and
and
I'd probably
you know.
prefer to pay somebody to do it for me. I think, yeah. So yeah.
Mate, and I love the authenticity in your response there, right? Because I knew that was going to be the answer here. Because sometimes I've even
How'd you
found
know
myself,
that?
well, because I know how you hustle, mate, and you
Yeah,
stick to what you know, and it works for you. I mean, as I said, mate, for someone to be selling 25, 30 homes a year consistently into their fourth year, you're doing
mm,
something right. And I see so many people that come into this industry 0 to 1 year, 1 to 3 years. They're looking at trying to implement all this new era stuff with tech and AI that they're
yeah,
forgetting about the fundamentals, picking up the
mm,
phone, having a meaningful conversation with somebody that's nurturing them for business, not today, but into the future.
exactly right.
So
Yeah,
I really wanted to emphasize that, mate, because there's a lot of power in that. A lot of people
yeah,
think, what's the next bolt on? What's the next add-on that I can put into my business that makes my life easier? The
yeah,
reality is that the business will never go away if you're prepared to do the work. And sometimes the most basic of work of dialing people, having a
Yep.
conversation, following up with a letterbox drop, door
That's right.
knock, whatever it is, that will never
Yep.
die. It'll never go
No,
away. And I
no,
think that's really
no, I
important
don't
that
think
you,
so. Yeah, look, all
yeah,
those things are, all those, Facebook ads, and I see some of the boys do it really, really well.
yeah,
For me, that's just another layer of what you're doing. Like, if you've got your calls going down, Pat, if you're making your open home call backs as well, if you're doing some
yeah.
letterbox drops, and if you're doing your emails, they're all the layers that will help you. But for me, the fundamental thing is just on the phones, is just making the calls. Yeah.
It's really good, mate, that you've created those barriers that you protect yourself and you shield yourself. And I've noticed that with you because, we collaborate and I seen early on where your strengths were and you play really well to your strengths, where sometimes a lot of industry agents get distracted by all the noise and the next shiny object and they go, oh, you know what? I'll have a crack at that. And before you know it, they've forgotten the fundamentals of prospecting because they're looking at the next shiny object and
Yeah.
they're wondering why at the end of the quarter I've only sold one home or had, three appraisals. It's because you
Correct.
forgot the basic fundamentals that will get you indoors every day, every week, every month, every
That's right.
year just by
Yeah.
doing that. So I think for you, mate, what I've noticed from afar is that you're very protective of what you stick to and you just play to that, and you don't
Yeah.
let the noise and the shiny objects distract you away from that. And I think that's a
Yeah.
key attributing factor to why you are where you're at performance-wise 4 years into the industry.
Yeah. It's
Um,
a good
Mate,
observation. Thank you. Mm.
it is. Oh, well, read the play, mate. I could see that, play to your strengths, as they say.
Play
Play
to
to
the
your
strengths.
strengths.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be much point in me just sort of continually churning out Facebook ads or Facebook posts or whatever.
Yeah.
If it's not going to get me sort of anywhere, but yeah, if I'm making the calls, that's what I sort of enjoy doing as well, having a chat
Yeah.
with everyone. So, hmm,
100%. Well, I guess that comes
yeah,
from being raised on the farm, mate. You love a yarn, right?
a bit of a yarn, yeah, and a cup of
Good
tea,
yarn.
something like that. Yeah, exactly right. Have a cuppa,
Cup of tea and a scone.
scone and a
Mate, tell
yarn.
me,
Yeah.
tell me about like the transition for you, like when you went from the traditional office environment and franchise network and brand into eXp Realty. Like, how were those early stages for you with that transition? Because I know I've been through it, many of us have been through it, but maybe somebody who's
Mm,
watching this that sees Tim Mann out in the marketplace and goes, "Wow, he's doing
mm,
quite well. He's only 4 years into the industry. What's he
mm.
doing?" Well, we know one
Yeah,
part's calling and prospecting,
cool. Yeah,
but that whole transition for you, man, like how was it? If we take you back to going from the franchise to now eXp
mm,
Realty, how was the whole
yeah.
transition for you?
Well, it was a little bit sort of hard in the beginning because we're just with the admin side of things, and because I spoke to you because I came on board with eXp in July of last year, and I'd
Yeah.
spoken to you probably maybe 9 months or 12 months prior as well. Um,
Yep.
but the transition for me was really easy. It was just getting my head around of sort of writing my own ads, uploading all the photography, and just basically just that side of things. But it probably only took me about a week or two, or the month, I'd say, just to learn how that all went. But the support was always there from the girls, from yourself, Marco as well, was awesome. But once you're up and cranking with it, then you've got the flexibility to do a range of other things as well with all your advertising and all that sort of thing. So for me, not being very good with all the IT and things like that, it,
Yeah.
it, it was actually all right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was talking to one agent that's partnering with us and she comes from an office environment where she gets a certain split because the office does a certain amount of her lifting for her, which I get that. Like, if you want to outsource, you've got to pay. If you don't want to do that, you've got to get someone else to do it, which comes at a cost, right? A business
It's
operative
true.
cost. But she's partnered with us, and she asked me the question the other day. She goes, "Chris, what do you do for printing?" I was like, I've got a $500 brother printer that I bought when I first came over, and I don't use it. It's literally collecting dust. I can see it now, and I keep saying to myself, I've got to move it out the office, right?" And she goes, "So I'm used to going into an appraisal. I have this, I have that printed, this and that." And I said, "Look, I used to do exactly the same." I said, but
Yeah.
when you pivot your business, it is the perfect time to reevaluate what have you been doing the same way for the last 10 years and how can you enhance it right now and
Yeah.
use this integration phase of going from your traditional office environment to now the cloud-based model to revamp yourself. So I said to her, like, for me, the digital pre-list kit, I used to drop that out to the door. Logistically, I don't have the time to do that now. Now you might want to do that, but it means you're gonna have to print all this stuff off, put it into the pre-list kit, put in
Yeah,
some Tim Tams or tea,
yeah,
coffee, biscuits, whatever, and then run it out to the door. I said, now
yeah,
I'm looking for speed and efficiencies to be more agile with tech. So I moved a lot of the stuff I printed. I still do it. I just do it all digitally instead, whether it be
yeah,
an SMS instead of printing it, whether it be
yeah.
the email, post appraisal in readiness for the appraisal. And I think that's really important is that whenever you make a change, sure you can transition as you are and remain complacent and quite comfortable in doing business the same way, but is it a perfect time and opportunity to go, well, let me learn how to do the marketing myself? And is it really that difficult that it's costing me
Yeah.
10% as an expense to get somebody else to do it? Or is it once I know it myself, it's like 15 minutes and I can set it up myself, right?
It's pretty easy. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, it's pretty easy. Yeah,
yeah. How have you found it, mate? Like obviously we give full control to you to be able to do that, whether it's be uploading your open times, changing a price on a
yep.
property, loading in your
Mm.
photos. You've got full control of everything in your CRM because it is your CRM. Now that
Yep.
you've found your feet and how to do that, like are you finding you have more control and it's actually easier for you now or
Mate, it's awesome. Yeah. I mean, you can do whatever you want. So, I mean, then you can be on the phone with your owner. You can go over and sit down with them. And if you want to change anything, move photos around, edit any of the text, or you write, put up the open home times. It's just so easy to do. Whereas back with the other office, you'd have to either run it past the boss first, and then you'd have to get one of the admin girls who did an awesome job, but then one of the admin girls to do it, and it could take hours, if not overnight or whatever as well. So
yeah.
it wasn't instant. But yeah, the way that it is now, I've got full control over it, and it's actually really, really easy. It's actually not all that difficult. Yeah. So
Once you learn it, mate, once you learn it. I remember the day when I first started, I'm like, God, I used to go to Kath and say, right, put in the photos in this order, and she would do it all.
yeah,
But there would be a lineup of agents wanting the same thing. So you kind of got seen to
yeah,
in chronological order, right? Whereas
yeah,
now, if you get a price realignment and it's 9 o'clock on a Monday night, log in,
yeah.
bang, it's done,
Bingo, bango.
SMS out to the buyers, and it's done
Yeah,
with speed and efficiencies.
yeah,
Um,
exactly right.
Mate, tell me, what is it that you are enjoying most about being partnering? And again, it is a partnership. You've partnered your business with eXp Realty. You are your business. We're here to support you. What's been, I guess, some of the most enjoyable parts about that whole transition now that you're here nearly 12 months in?
I think the group chat sort of thing, like everybody wants to help each other out. It's not like the other franchises where if one office has a home for sale and one of your clients wants to buy it, but you've got the sale, they don't want to help you. The other office hates each other, whereas we're all independent, but we want to help each other.
Yep.
And it's in there all the time. Hey, I've got this property for sale. Does anybody have any buyers? And you'll send buyers or whatever. So that side of it is awesome. The commission split, it just like it's just amazing. It's yeah, like I look back and see what I was doing. And you've got your franchise fee that comes out, and then you've got your office split, which is fair enough in a way. But once you get out of that and you start to look at the commission split and how in favor it is of the agent with EXP, you just
Mm.
look back and you just think, what was I doing? Like, why was I doing that for so long?
Yeah.
And the flexibility to run all your own flyers or your advertising as well. Whereas if you're with another franchise, it's like certain in the template, you can't add anything or any photos or text or whatever it is too. So flexibility in that regard as well. So yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
Let's talk about that commission split component because I'm going to say it's probably in the top three reasons why anyone would move. And generally, they're not going to move for less. They're going to move to want more, right?
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I was talking to an agent the other day, and this is quite common. Office leads. I got X amount of office leads, and we said, okay, well, let's look at them. And there was about 12 leads, 15 leads, I think it was over a 12-month period. No, 12 month, yeah, 12-month period, 12 leads thereabouts. But I said, okay, how many have you actually converted? And there was three. I said, all right, well, let's work out the gross commission of what those three generated you versus your current structure and what it would have looked at being on our structure for every deal. It was very
Yeah.
compelling, and the three office leads most certainly didn't account for the difference of income that it would have generated by us increasing their split some 20% over every transaction over that same 12-month period. So the three was kind of irrelevant really in the bigger picture. Having a higher commission split for you, mate, because cash flow is king and queen in anyone's business, right? What has it
Mm.
helped you, enabled you to do more with that extra commission split and cash flow in your own business?
Yeah, well, look, I suppose in the beginning, and I think a lot of the barrier as well for a lot of agents looking either to come over to eXp or to seriously look at it, is because you're not earning a wage. So it's a little bit
Yep.
on the iffy side, like you're sort of thinking, geez, am I really going to make it? So your commission split, like in the beginning, then you're on 75%, which I mean, you walk into your boss's office of one of the franchises and ask for 75%. He'd laugh,
Mm.
or he or she. So with that, with the extra money that's coming in, you don't like there's no stress. Like you don't have to stress where's my next listing coming from and looking at your debit credit retainer and you're just seeing money going out and not much really coming in. So then in that regard too, you don't have to stress so much. You can spend more time working on the properties with your clients.
Hmm.
And obviously making like if you hit the 100 grand with the cap, you're on 100%. Like it's just yeah, just amazing. Yeah,
It's pretty
amazing.
cool, man. Like I know for me, one of the things that definitely enables you to do is actually work on your business, not just in it constantly. Because obviously,
Yeah,
if you know you've got a pipeline of cash flow coming through, and obviously the more of it that you're keeping the lion's share, well, those reserves just build up larger. But I find a lot of agents that have retained a higher commission split and it's driven direct it's been positively cash flowed straight into their businesses is they actually get the opportunity to work on their business as well as in it
yeah,
as
that's
well.
fine. Yeah, yeah,
Because I get it, I've seen in my own former office environment agents quite frantic that are on that debit credit arrangement that are just flying around in the office because they've seen that statement and it is going out more so than it's coming in, so they're always just
yeah,
in the business not working on it, which I think
yeah,
is really
true.
really important. So, mate, we're coming up to 12 months in eXp Realty. What's
Mm,
been like? Probably, I'm hearing collaboration. You're enjoying getting around the culture and the collaboration, which really is everything that we do in the spirit of our model. And every agent that's partnered with us. What's on the radar for Tim in the next 12 months as you venture into the second year eXp Realty, but it'll be year five in the industry? What's
yeah.
on the horizon for Tim Mann?
Well, I think by the end of this financial year or the end of my first year, I probably will sell 26 or 27, I think. So obviously always increasing the bar there. So maybe trying to sell 35, 5 to 40. Potentially bring somebody on as well underneath
Yep.
in the prospecting way. Um, just to continue doing an excellent job. Love what I do, helping people out, buy and sell a home. Lose some weight. I think I want to lose some weight as well. I've sort of let myself go a little bit, having too much fun, but definitely personal goals as well. But yeah, just basically just to keep on doing what I'm doing, work with as many agents as I can, and just get out there and just have fun with it. Yeah.
How are you finding the transition, mate? Like, I know we came from the franchise where things were very much controlled, how you can brand and market and prospect yourself. How are you
Yeah.
finding the automation or the freedom that you can have within your own marketing and prospecting guidelines?
Yeah, it's awesome. And then obviously with your advertising budget, you can sort of have a chat with the owners and sort of see what sort of advertising you want to put out there as well and brand it the right way. But yeah, you're right. With the franchise model, I suppose they've got their reasons as to why they do it, but yeah, there's no real freedom or flexibility to do anything. It's just the sort of just listed template, the just sold. It's more sort of marketing the brand than rather than you as the agent. But yeah, I mean flexibility galore. Yeah, so I mean all the templates from all you lads from the Alpha as well, which are good. So yeah, it's good.
I think what's really important for us, and I know it takes time for ourselves to adjust from the environment we came from, and I even talk to a lot of agents still within the franchise model and network. And there's definitely a place and a space for the agent that needs that environment. Like all of us in any business, any relationship, sometimes you outgrow things, right? You did, I did.
Mhm.
And when I explain it to them, I say, well, because I've had feedback, they're like, all you guys look a little bit different. There's some similarities, but you're a little bit different. And I say, yeah, absolutely, because that's what we encourage. We want you to be your own unique name, your own unique brand. We want you to have full control of your marketing. We want you to control your vendor paid advertising and whatever suppliers you want to use. We don't really care how you look as long as it's a certain standard. And it's interesting, mate. Like if you go to America, they encourage independence massively within our industry. You could go in a 10-kilometer or 5 mile radius of an area, and there is
Mm.
so many different individual identities and agents operating in that same isolated pocket because that's
Yeah,
just how it is over there. It's more dominant by independence within our industry, more so than driven by dominant brands as such. And I think it's
yeah,
only a matter of time here in Australia that we'll start to see that wave change here as well, where we've seen franchise branding dominance, from the 80s pretty consistently to now we're starting to
yeah,
see a lot of independence come into our industry where agents like you and many of our members, I just want to run my business my way. I want freedom. I want autonomy. I want to control what my vendor paid advertising is. I want to control my suppliers. I want to control my CRM.
yeah.
I am uniquely me, and I want that to connect and resonate with my clients and my community out abroad. Um, so yeah, so that's really cool. So mate, if there's anybody that's watching this and maybe they're watching Tim Mann, because I know a lot of agents we always watch each other, right? Sometimes we're our own
Expect
worst critiques, right?
see
But if
each
there's
other
anyone that's
everywhere, and yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we are, mate, absolutely. But if there's anyone out there that's watching Tim Mann or this replay or this live session that's thinking, you know what, I've outgrown my environment, the vehicle that I'm currently in, but I'm a bit, the transition for me is daunting. I don't know. Maybe I'm on that retainer, mate. Maybe I'm, where will I land if I make this change? What would be
yeah.
any tips of where Tim Mann was at nearly 12 months ago to the day to that
Mm.
person that's watching you to this day?
Look, I suppose you know in yourself if you want to do it, and if you want to do it, and you can make the calls, you can knock on doors, you're not scared of getting out there.
Yeah.
Um, and you're looking at the money that you're making now or how many sales that you're doing now, and you're just seeing 50% of your money, of your hard-earned money, sort of going away from you. Like EXP's the go. Like it's legitimately, if you can put the work in, yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to do it any other way, and when you get stuck in the bubble of that franchise world, and you hate every other brand, and yada yada and all that sort of stuff, you sort of lose track of sort of why you want to do it and the work
Mm.
that you're putting in. And like if you try to get someone's house for sale, like a client, and you're working with them for 3 months, 6 months, and then you get paid for it, like that's 3 or 6 months of your hard work, and then half of that's going to the agency or the franchise fee. So it just doesn't make sense to be doing it that way. And then also, you can actually reduce your fees for your client to actually help you win more of the business, and actually still make the same, or if not more, and actually sell less homes if you want, and actually still make more. Um, so yeah, if you're
Which is
thinking about it, do it. Yeah, just
which
do
is
it.
a really good point, mate, because I get the question sometimes like, do you guys control what the minimum fee is, or is there this sliding scale? Because I know in some office environments this is the minimum benchmark, you can't go below that. This is the sliding
Yeah,
scale. Like
yeah,
here again, it's all about control and power to the agent. We're all about empowering the agent. If you need to
yeah.
do the fee at that point to win the business, that's your call.
Do it.
If you need to do it at this
Exactly right.
point,
Yeah.
because of your value proposition, it's your call. Last
Mm,
question, mate. Through that transition, obviously you knew you could do the work because you're an old school prospector and hustler. Dial, 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 pound the
mm,
pavement. I know that. But did you have a bit of a plan coming into that transition as to you knew your numbers and you forecast or plan those numbers and what that needed to look like? And lastly, did you have a bit of a financial budget, I guess, if you could say that you had their money sitting aside to allocate if you needed to do a little bit of prospecting investment over here and a bit of extra marketing over there. Did you have those plans in place, or did you just take the leap of faith and go, I'm back in Tim Man here, I'm all in?
Yeah, I had no plan whatsoever, but I knew that the EXP brand and the model was definitely going to work for me.
Yeah.
I had no plans with numbers. I had no, I mean, like I had some money put aside, but I didn't really plan it or with budget or anything. No, mate, I just went for it. Yeah, yeah, just went for it. So,
Awesome.
and
It,
and
backed
and
yourself, mate, in
here we
true
are.
spirit.
Yeah, yeah,
Back
exactly
yourself
right.
in true spirit. So there you go,
Yeah,
folks. If you're watching this and you're thinking, how hard can a change be? Well, sometimes the hardest part is just taking that leap, right? Because it's
doing it.
amazing
Yeah,
if you've got the entrepreneurial spirit, mate, which you most certainly do. What you can do when your back's up against the wall and how you can come out fighting. You don't always need a business plan. You don't always need this 12-month financial map of,
yeah,
cash flow. Sometimes it's just about doing it, getting in and doing the
just get into
work
it.
and
Yeah,
backing yourself to make it happen. Tim Mann, thanks for joining us, mate, on this eXp Realty Discovery session from the farm
thank you for
to the
having me.
wineries, now prospering in the real
Look
estate
out.
industry, mate. It's a real honor. And we'll check in with you down the track how the next 12 months is going with the eXp Realty
Excellent.
journey. Thanks for joining us,
Thank you
buddy.
very much.
Totally appreciate it.
Thanks to everyone else. See you
Cheers,
later.
folks.